last book. And both of those books I actually read probably when I was your age in school, but this one has been published a lot more recently, so I've only just read this in the last year, and it's very exciting. Has anybody heard of Avi before? Yeah, he's written a lot of really good books. So have you read some by him?
There's the Mayor of Central Park or something, then they have that one, I can't remember, it has like the owl and the mice, and that's a little like that.
I've read them.
You've read some too? A lot of you probably have, because he writes not only historical fiction, but all different kinds of books. He's a good author. But so if you like him, you may like this book, even though you're not sure about historical fiction. But to kind of get into this book, instead of telling you about the whole plot, I wanted you to try to imagine that you're Crispin and kind of put yourself in his shoes. So Crispin is this guy about your age, and his dad has never been around. He's never really known his dad, and his mom, whose name is Asta, has recently died. So that's really sad for him, and he's kind of having to come to terms with that. He, unlike the first two characters, he is not rich. He doesn't have noblemen for parents. He's the son of serfs, which it's not serf like a surfboard, but serf with an E, which is kind of like you work on the land for the night, and you have to pay him a lot of what you make, whether it's crops or money, and then he protects you, and so that's kind of how that works. So he's never been really rich, and he's never really had a lot, but he has had his family up until now. So he's kind of sad and feeling kind of alone right now, and he's a good friend of his is the pastor at the church in their village, and he wants Crispin to come and pray, and is pretty sure that that'll make him feel better. But he's upset and kind of angry, so he runs off into the woods, and when he's running off, he falls and he trips, and he hits his head. Have any of you ever fallen and kind of hurt yourself before?
Does hitting a ceiling fan count? I've gotten great concussions and chicken.
Oh my goodness.
Does hitting a ceiling fan count?
Yeah, I would say. Well, have any of you ever been knocked out before?
Yeah. When I got my concussion.
Oh my goodness, I've never been knocked out before.
It's cool.
It is?
See black light out.
Well, he gets knocked out because he hits his head on a stone, and when he wakes up, he's out in the middle of the woods, and it's night. And back then, they didn't have electricity. Like nowadays, like if I were to run into the woods and fall and trip and you know, wake up and it's night, there might be a street lamp nearby, or it could be a house in the distance, so there's probably going to be some kind of light that you can see by. But I want you to imagine, and close your eyes if this helps you, just imagine waking up and it's pitch black. You can't see anything at all. And that would be really scary. And not only that, but your parents are gone, so there's nobody to really care whether you don't come home that night. So you're pretty much all by yourself in the dark in a strange place, and that's really kind of eerie. And all of a sudden in the distance you see this light kind of bobbing. So of course you're going to go near it, right, to try to find out if it's somebody that could help you. So he creeps closer, and he sees that he knows one of the people in the clearing. There are two people there. One of the people is Lord Aycliffe, who is the lord over his manor, kind of the knight that watches out for all the serfs for his family. And he's not a very nice guy. He doesn't really like Crispin very much. But the other guy is this mysterious stranger. He's wearing this big hooded cloak, and you can't see his face at all, and he's being very mysterious and strange. And he reaches under his cloak and pulls out this bag full of gold coins and gives it to Lord Aycliffe. Now, does that seem kind of suspicious to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys meeting in the middle of the night in a place where they're sure no one else will be to exchange money. And Crispin realizes that it's probably not a good idea for them to see him because he could get in big trouble. So he starts to try to creep away, but Lord Aycliffe sees him. And Lord Aycliffe is so angry that he pulls out his sword and he slashes down at him like he's trying to kill him, basically. But instead he gets the bramble bush right next to Crispin, and that kind of knocks him to the side, so he's free to kind of race away. And he runs away, and he decides, okay, what's going on here? This guy just tried to kill me. Am I safe anymore? What should I do? So he decides he's going to wait until morning, and he's going to go back to his house, and he's going to ask his friend that works at the church for help and see what he should do. But when dawn finally comes and he creeps up to the edge of the forest right near his house, he sees that Lord Aycliffe and another man are basically destroying his house. They're knocking it down and they're setting it on fire, and everything he's ever owned and all of his memories of his family that go along with that house, they're just gone. They're up in smoke. So Crispin needs to figure out what's going on, why they're trying to destroy his life, basically, and whether he's safe to go home or whether he needs to run away and find a new life somewhere. And so to find out what happens to Crispin, of course, you're going to have to get the book and read what becomes of him. And actually, Abby's written another book about Crispin, too, so if you liked this one, you could read the other one, too.
His house is burned down by your friendly neighborhood thugs.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I
That's
definitely want that book.
What?
I want that book.
You want that book? Yeah, it's pretty exciting beginning. That's just the beginning, too, so it gets even better after that. I know that you've got other stuff to do and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but if any of these books sound interesting, I made little bookmarks that have each of the titles and then the author, and I was going to have the title of the book, the cover of the book, but my computer wasn't working, so I drew you a picture instead.
Thank you.
So we'll just hand those out really quickly. And thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.